everyone, and welcome to Glen Lake in Goffstown, New Hampshire, the site of the Glen Lake Swim. Swimmers are ready, anxious to get going, and we are too, as we hear from Safety Director Bob Willett.
Our water depth is a maximum of 51 feet, but we prefer that you all stay on the surface. So hopefully none of you will find out if that's true. We're going to have 3 waves today, starting at 8:30. It's an in-water start. You'll be entering through here with a colored card. Give that card to the person in the chute. The 2-mile wave will go first. I believe you guys are green caps. 3 minutes later, a yellow wave. Another 3 minutes later, the third 1-mile wave.
And there you see Glennie, of course, out on the water. Don't worry, she is a friendly lake monster, as we head back to the shore for a blessing of today's festivities.
We have a lot of mythology about beasts in the waters and things like this, and this is no exception. Glennie, as you may call Glennie, would have fit in with our mythology. Before this river was dammed, we would have had all kinds of stories, like all indigenous people of the world. Whenever we saw strange animals of any sort, we always thought it was a monster. We have lots of words about these, and this one, in our language, this is the great serpent that you have here. I'm going to now have my wife, she's a Sagamusquat, or the principal female speaker for our particular band. We are the Cossack band of the Pennacook and Abenaki people. We're located in Alton, New Hampshire, and we're one of the original pre-colonial tribes in New England. All right, we've gathered here today in the continuing circle of life. Mibial Aki, these are the waters of our earth. All the waters of the earth are the blood of our Mother Earth, and with her blood she provides growth for the continuation of life. We are the Wabanaki. All nations hear our words. I'm going to ask my wife now to make blessings, and by blessings we offer small amounts of tobacco in the water to have things happen in a good way. Spirits of the endless river and lake waters, we give you this tobacco for thanks. Great serpent spirit, Gitzikok, we give you this tobacco for your thanks. We would be pleased if you make no trouble, no biting, no eating, no tickling of these swimmers, please. To the water spirits, the little water spirits, we give you this tobacco for thanks. We don't want any mischief out there in the waters. Spirits of the water animals, we give you this tobacco for thanks. We don't want any fish coming up and bothering you either. To the spirits of the water fish, we give you this tobacco for thanks. And to the spirits of the water birds, we give you this thanks. To the spirits of the water plants, we give you this tobacco for thanks. But most and foremost, Creator, the mystery of all life, giver of all energy and all things on this earth, we give you this tobacco for thanks. And we thank you. Isilini, great thanks. Let's have a great swim.
Very, very cool. Thank you for that so much. As the swimmers are heading out into the lake, this is exciting times because this is the first of 3 heats, or waves, if you will, going out into the lake. These are the 2-mile swimmers. This is the first year that the Glen Lake Swim is offering a 2-mile course, which is simply another lap around the 1-mile course. In the field, we have some of last year's swimmers out there for the 1-milers, including Michael Giraldi, last year's winner in the men's division overall. We'll see if he can defend that. He does have a course record of about 24 minutes. As we are about to set this one off, the course, of course, goes around about a mile, and underneath the power lines, you can see they do 2 90-degree turns. They keep the buoys to their left, and as they come back, that long straightaway is against the slight current out there. So here's wave 1, ready to go.
Ready? All right, have so much fun it hurts!
And they're off. Look at that. It's the Glen Lake Swim as they take off in Heat 1. That was Parks and Rec Director Rick Wilhelmi starting things off for the 2nd annual Glen Lake Swim. First of 3 heats taking to the water as the first swimmers do their 2-mile course. About every 5 minutes they're going to be setting off the other waves, if you will. And as you know, the second lap is just one more time around the course as we take a look at the field kind of spreading out there a little bit and getting our awesome drone footage. I got to tell you, this really makes it for us. So a big thanks to our volunteer out there who is providing, actually a couple of volunteers for our drone coverage this year, and it's really kind of gives this bird's eye view that's so important because we can't be up in the air all the time here unless we have a drone, and we happen to have one as a volunteer here this year on the Glen Lake Swim. What's really cool about this event from the production standpoint is we have this drone, we have several cameras on the shore, we actually have another camera parked up by the power lines on the shore as well. And in all, we have about 9 different angles that we're able to bring the Glen Lake Swim to you. This is the first year we won't be on the water for the event, but we are over the water, as you see. And maybe next year we can talk some of those kayakers into allowing us to strap a GoPro on top and see what kind of angles we can get from the swim out there. But you can see the field. This are the 2-milers, so there's a bit of strategy going on here, I'm sure, with some of them. Some of them are just going to pace themselves. They're just trying to finish. Some of them are trying to win this one, and you can see there's a few that are kind of distancing themselves from the rest of the field. Absolutely beautiful, gorgeous weather. Couldn't have asked for anything better than this. Last year during the swim, if you recall, it was a little bit hazy and overcast, and it was still right after some warm weather. We've had another hot spell here in the dog days of summer in New Hampshire, but the water temperature this morning is 74 degrees, and that makes this wetsuit legal, as you heard Bob talk about earlier, so pretty cool. In fact, if we're talking about the shore, we are going to head back to the shore right now and hear about some drumming activities that are going on.
Na na kina, away, away. Holy, go on, away. Holy, only, casino us. Holy, only.
Once again, such a nice touch and such a respectful thing to have that as a part of the Glen Lake Swim. As we see our front runner out there, that's Stuart Cromartie for the 2-milers. He is making some brisk pace. And just about this time, we're heading back to the shore to start the second wave. Second wave heading out there onto the lake. You see the fireboat out there that is providing some support for today once again. Our second wave is going to be filled with some familiar names from last year's 1-mile course, including Michael Giraldi, who was the course record holder. We'll see if he can defend his title today and how that time is going to hold up. Very interesting to see how that kind of plays out as they go out there. You can see a nice shot there of everybody out on the lake, and also we can see them spreading out. In fact, this is closer down towards those 2 90-degree turns, and we can see the swimmers are getting out there, making those turns. Having a little bit of help from the boats out there doesn't hurt as well to kind of guide them. Again, the kayaks are out there. There's 20 or 30 kayakers out there on the lake today, just helping aim everybody so they go in the right direction. And of course, on the back side there of those 2 buoys, making sure nobody goes any closer to the dam, because nobody wants to see that. As the swimmers are out there once again, what a beautiful day for this course, and the swimmers enjoying some nice temperatures as well, which probably will help some of their times. And we see the different caps, the green caps, a subtle difference here. Green caps are the 2-milers. The yellow caps are the 1-milers that are out there. Another shot of those 2 90-degree turns, and some of the swimmers pulling away. that is quite the distance there. We'll see how these times come in. There's going to be some fast ones today. You can kind of feel that as they're out on the lake and seeing what's out there. Actually, we have an update right now from the police chief on Glennie.
The Goffstown Police Department has issued the following advisory concerning this event.
There have been no verifiable injuries or deaths in or around Glen Lake attributable to Glennie. The Goffstown Police Department believes that it will be safe for swimmers to participate in the Glen Lake Swim event this August. If you see Glennie while swimming or boating on the lake, enjoy the moment and appreciate the grace and beauty. Do not approach or try to touch Glennie. Please treat Glennie as you would any rare or protected species, through passive observation from a distance. Happy hunting and have a great swim.
Words of wisdom from Chief Brown. The third and final wave getting set for the water right now.
It kind of gives you something to do in the meantime, too.
I can handle that.
Okay, we all set? We all set? Ready? Have so much fun it hurts!
And it's again Rick Wilhelmy with his soon-to-be patented phrase, I believe. Third and final wave of swimmers in the water as we can see that crowd expanding out. Our front runners starting to come around their second lap for the 2-milers as well. So that's coming in. So it's kind of exciting times here as they're out on the course today. As we get another one of those drone shots. Beautiful angle here to see all the swimmers making their way towards shore. We're going to see some of our finishers very soon for the 1 mile. They did this very smartly this year with the 2-mile swim doing 2 laps. They really just wanted to have all of those people obviously go first so that they could get some of the other swimmers out of the way for their second lap. Another great shot. Look at that. That's the water out there. You can see there's a little bit of a breeze and it's pushing against them. And even though this is a lake, it's a man-made lake that's on a river, there is a current, and that current goes along that entire long stretch. So even though it's not a lot of current, you're fighting the current when you're out there. And it's not as easy as one might think. Of course, it does look pretty hard for somebody who's not much of a swimmer like yours truly. So looks like, yeah, we've got, we're going to head back to the shore right now. We've got some of our swimmers coming in. And, before that, we got, oh no, and he hit a buoy. Yep, well, that's going to happen sometimes, but that's okay. All right, it looks like he's making his way out of there. Good for him. So, hey, we can't have a perfect race for everybody, right? Nothing wrong with that. As we take a look now, it looks like we've got some of our kayakers out there, again, talking about the volunteers, guiding everybody around the course. This is so important, and it makes such a big difference because it's easy to lose your bearings. You can imagine, just think about trying to do those 2 turns right there, 2 left-hand 90-degree turns, if you will. If you've been around the Rotary, you know how much of a problem people have doing that just driving, let alone swimming out there. So there is a little bit of caution, a little bit of trickery to try and get through those. But again, the volunteers are just so helpful. In fact, this whole event is really such a well-run event, and every year you get a few more people participating in this. Just about every weekend you can see a 5K road race, but not every weekend do you have a 1 mile or 2 mile swim around the lake in the same fashion. So really, once again, such a nice event and such a feather in the cap for a community like Goffstown. And now we have it. Looks like this could be our first finisher here. Yeah, it's one of the yellow caps, so it's a 1 miler. So coming in, we're going to get some of our finishers. We'll see if we can get a reading on who that might be as they come up out of the water. This is pretty exciting. Now we'll see what kind of time they get because it's corrected because they're in the second heat. And it looks like our first finisher is Parker Wheat. Hey, how about this? Yes, it is. 72-year-old Parker Wheat. Looks like he's going to be crossing the finish line first here. And he's going to be he's going to come in with a time adjusted of 26:06. Wow, what a great time. I don't think I could run a mile in that time. And right behind him is going to be, well, that's last year's first place finisher, Michael Giraldi, as he won't be able to defend his crown this time, but he still owns the course record from last season by about 2 minutes. As you see the finishers coming in and out of the water, they make their way up onto the shore. A little bit of help from Rick and some volunteers and some lifeguards. And they get their reward. So after they go through the finish here, they get up on shore and they all get a Glennie tooth. That's pretty cool. Now, the volunteers were out collecting these from all around the lake, and they're going to be putting them over the necks of each of the swimmers as kind of a gift for finishing. So, again, talking about that volunteer effort, just going out there and searching for all these Glennie teeth, that's quite the big deal. And now going back, looks like we have our first female finisher. It's Eileen O'Connell coming in with a time of 30 minutes, 11 seconds, followed closely by Rachel Mudlinski. Excellent times here, just about 5 seconds separating them. Excellent times here for the ladies back out on the course, and you're seeing some mixing of the 1 and 2 mile swimmers. We still have yet to have our first 2 mile swim come in, as we're starting to get I like that sign down there, recent Glennie sighting. So, we just want to make sure that everybody is aware that they're out there swimming with Glennie, the friendly lake monster. Of course, don't let the teeth fool you. She's actually quite personable. So we see a lot of the swimmers starting to make their way onto the shore, and it's looking like we are going to be getting our first 2 mile swim finisher here. And making his way up the shore, it's Stuart Cromarty. He's going to have a time of 49:04. What an excellent time there. Wow, first place. So he did 2 miles in 49 minutes. That is incredible. More than a minute and a half separating him and the second place finisher, by the way. What a time. And the first up for the ladies will be Jocelyn Noakes. A great time as well, 55:14. As more of the swimmers come out of the water, there's Elaine Howley as well, who's a unique swimmer, as she is one of only a handful of people to swim the Lake Monster Triple Crown. That's right, that exists. And is one of the organizers of the Boston Light Swim. So for more on Elaine, we go down to the shore.
It's a beautiful lake, and I just love to have the opportunity of potentially seeing, Glennie. I'm into lake monsters. I have a giant lake monster tattoo on my leg, and I come back because I think that maybe I'd get to see Glennie. So I have completed the Triple Crown of Lake Monster Swims, which is solo crossings of Lake Tahoe in California, which is a 21.5 mile swim, and that's where Tessie lives. I've done the 25 mile length of Lake Memphremagog, which spans Vermont and into southern Quebec. And that is home to Memphrey. And then I've also done the 22.2 mile length of Loch Ness in Scotland, which is home to the archetypal sea serpent, Nessie. And so altogether, the 3 of them are the Triple Crown of Lake Monster Swims, and as of today, 4 people have finished it. The Boston Light Swim is an 8 mile race that takes place in Boston Harbor. Swimmers start in the water at the lighthouse, which is America's first lighthouse, and they swim 8 miles through the Harbor Islands National Park back to South Boston. The race has been going on since 1907, and my partner Greg O'Connor and I took over running the event in 2009, and so we just are stewards of the event right now and just want to see it go on and for other swimmers to enjoy in the future.
I've heard from a very reliable source that you're afraid to swim in a pool that may have a Band-Aid floating in it. Is that true?
I'm terrified of swimming in a pool that has a Band-Aid floating in it because it's gross. I'd much rather deal with lake monster poo than a Band-Aid. As an undergrad, I did a double major in German and studio art at Georgetown, and the studio art that I did then is very different to what I do now. I used to do intaglio printmaking, but these days I've really gotten into really colorful pastel portraits of animals. I do pretty much any kind of animal. I like to do pet commissions. Yeah, and it's just it's something to do to relax me a little bit when I'm not swimming or writing, and get to hang out with some cool animals.
That was really interesting. Thank you so much for that, Elaine, and thank you so much for watching here on Goffstown Television. What a fantastic day at the lake. Is there a bad one, though, really? The second annual Glen Lake Swim. Hope you enjoyed our presentation. We're going to be, of course, with the at the bottom of the screen with some of the results and some of the first place and top finishers here in just a little bit. Once again, such a fantastic event, so well organized all the way around. Happy to be a part of it for the second year and can't wait to see you for year 3 in 2020. For Goffstown Television, I'm Adam McCune.